Yeah, I think now we can start our class. I will start from the methods of valuation of buildings, which I started in the last class, but I could not go further because of some sort of weakness. Okay. Now let us start the class today. What are the various methods available for valuation of an existing building? Okay. So what are the methods available and how to apply them, that we will see today. I hope you are able to see the slide. Are you able to see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We are online, right? We are connected.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are able to see the slide, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Slide is
Yes,
visible
sir.
or not?
Yes, sir. It is visible and we are connected, sir.
Okay. So then what are the different valuation methods available for us? Say if I get disconnected, you please call me and tell me. Okay, otherwise I will not be knowing while presenting. Okay. Then there are six basic methods. One is called rental method of valuation. Other is called direct comparison with capital value. Third is called valuation based on profit. Fourth is called valuation based on cost. Fifth is called development method of valuation. And sixth is depreciation method of valuation. Let us discuss each one of these things. Okay. So first we will take up the rental method of valuation. So what is this rental method of valuation? Now, I don't know, it is taking a lot of time for change of slides. So rental method of valuation, you can see here, in rental method of valuation, the net income from the building is calculated by deducting all the outgoings from the gross rent. So for example, you have a building. Okay, you are getting some rent on that building. So per year, you will be getting so much amount as the income from the building. But in that year, you may be having some expenditure also on the building. Okay, like you may have to pay electricity charges, or you may have to pay property tax every year. Okay, like that you may have to spend some amount on the building, maybe for maintenance. Okay, like that you have to spend some amount. You will be getting some income in the form of rent. At the same time, you will be having some outgoings. Outgoings means what is the expenditure you incur on that building per year. Okay. So what is the net income for you? The rent you are getting per year minus the expenses what you are incurring on that building per year. Okay. So that will give you what is the net income from the building. Is it not? Suppose
Yes, sir.
I have a building. Okay, I have an apartment complex. There are some 20 apartments. From the 20 apartment, let us say I'm getting um, some 2 lakhs rupees per year. Let's say 20 lakhs per year from 20 apartments over a 12-month period. But I may have to incur something like property tax of 1 lakh. Okay, and some other miscellaneous expenditure like say water tax. Let us say 2 lakhs I have to. Yeah, somebody has unmuted his microphone. Please mute the microphone. It's causing some disturbance. Hello, anybody has unmuted his phone? So what is that noise? I am not able to understand. Okay. So suppose say 10 lakhs is your income from the rent, but 2 lakhs you have to spend in terms of certain taxes and other things. Your net income will be 10 minus 2, 8 lakhs per annum, right? 8 lakhs per year. Okay. So that is your net income. Okay. Now what is the valuation of the building? How do you value the building? The net income multiplied by the year's purchase value gives the capitalized value or the valuation of the property. Now, whatever net income you have, multiplied by year's purchase value, that will give you the valuation. Now, you have to understand what is a year's purchase value. What is a year's purchase value? Year's purchase value is calculated by assuming a suitable rate of interest prevailing in the market. Now, suppose if you invest some money in the bank, what is the interest you will get at present? At prevailing market, what is the interest you will get? Let us say you are getting an interest of 5%. The year's purchase value is given by 100 by 5. That is 20 rupees. Okay. Now, what exactly is that? Now, let me explain you what is a year's purchase value. Year's purchase value is that amount which will fetch you an annual interest of 1 rupee with the prevailing rate of interest. Okay, please try to understand carefully. You know the prevailing rate of interest. Let us say the interest rate is 5%. Okay. Now the interest rate is 5% means what? If you deposit 100 rupees, after 1 year, what is the interest you get for 100 rupees? Yes, anybody? I am asking you a second class question. First class or second class question. The interest rate is 5%. If I deposit 100 rupees, 5% per annum is the interest rate. If I deposit 100 rupees, how much amount I will get as interest after 1 year?
5 rupees, sir.
5 rupees, sir. 5 rupees, right? I will get 5 rupees. So here what we are saying, year's purchase value is that amount which will fetch you an annual interest of 1 rupee. So now, if you want to get 5 rupees at the rate of 5%, you have to deposit 100 rupees. Suppose say you want to get 1 rupee at the end of 1 year. How much money you have to deposit? Anybody can answer me? I am asking you very simple questions. I am asking you questions which a first class or second class child can answer. If you want 5 rupees, you have to deposit 100 rupees. If you want 1 rupee, how much amount you have to deposit?
20 rupees, sir.
20 rupees. Why nobody is answering? Why you are not able to answer? Okay. So 20 rupees, how you get 20 rupees? 100 by 5 give you 20. That's why if R is the rate of interest, 100 by R will give you the amount which will fetch you 1 rupee interest at the end of 1 year. Okay. Now, if you want to get 1 rupee at the end of 1 year, for an interest rate of 5%, you have to deposit 20 rupees. Okay. Suppose you want to get 1 lakh at the end of 1 year. How much you have to deposit? If you want to get 1 rupee, you have to deposit 20 rupees. If you want to get 1 lakh as annual interest, how much amount you have to deposit?
20 lakhs, sir.
20 lakhs. How do you get that 20 lakhs? This 20 into this 1 lakh, what you are expecting, right? That means the yearly purchase value into the net income, what you are expecting, will give you what is the amount you have to invest in the bank. Is it not? Are you able to understand this concept?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, only one person is answering. What about others? Are you able to understand this concept? Say, in order to get 1 rupee, I have to deposit 20 rupees. In order to get 1 lakh, how much I have to deposit? 20 into 1 lakh. Say, this question is as simple as, if 1 apple costs 2 rupees, what is the cost of 5 apples? How do you get the answer? 5 into 2, right?
Yes, sir.
This is as simple as that. Why you are not able to understand? I'm very sorry. I don't know whether you are able to understand or not. Even the simple mathematics. Okay. So to get 1 rupee, you have to deposit 20 rupees. To get 1 lakh, how much you have to deposit? 20 into 1 lakh. So that comes to 20 lakhs. If you deposit 20 lakhs, then at the end of 1 year, you will get 1 lakh as interest if the interest rate is 5%. Okay, this is the concept of the rate of rental method. Anybody is having a doubt on this?
No, sir.
Okay. Now let us come back to this. What we are saying here is the net income multiplied by the year's purchase value gives the capitalized value or the valuation of the property. So let us take the same example, what we have done earlier. Okay. The prevailing rate of interest is 5%. When the prevailing rate of interest is 5%, year's purchase value is equal to 20 rupees. Okay. Now let us say the net income I am getting from the building per annum is now 1 lakh. Okay. That means after deducting all my expenditure, all my outgoings, the net income, what I am getting in the form of rent from the buildings is 1 lakh per year, let us say. Okay. Then what is the value that you must deposit in the bank to get 1 lakh per year? Just now we have calculated. It is 20,000 rupees, right?
20 lakhs,
Sorry,
sir.
20 lakh rupees, right? So if you have deposited 20 lakhs in the bank at the prevailing rate of 5%, you will get 1 lakh per annum. Okay. Now you are getting 1 lakh every year from your building. That means that it is as if you have deposited 20 lakhs in the bank. Is it not?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it correct or not?
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir.
from your building, what is the value of your building?
Maybe equalized to 20 lakhs, sir.
It is equal to 20 lakhs. You are right. Because if you deposit 20 lakhs in the bank, you will get 1 lakh. You are getting the same amount through rent, 1 lakh per annum. That means it is equivalent to depositing 20 lakhs. That means your building is worth 20 lakhs. So that is the calculation here what we do. The net income is multiplied by the year's purchase value. Net income is 1 lakh. Year's purchase value is 20 rupees. 20 into 1 lakh will give you 20 lakhs. So that is the valuation of the property, or that is the valuation of the building. Okay. So this is the method which is as rental value method or rental method of valuation. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay. So this is the concept of rental value, and this is the concept of what is yearly purchase value. Okay. Now we will go to next step. Rental value method can be applied only when you know the rental income from a building. Let us say you don't know the rental income from the building. Then what to do? So in that case, when the rental value is not known, we compare the building with the similar building in the same locality. Okay. And then we will value that building. Suppose you have an apartment with 5 floors, each containing 4 flats, totally 20 flats. Let us say you don't know what is the rental income right now. Okay. Now what we can do is you can compare. If you have another building with the same number of apartments nearby with the same almost similar specifications, which is getting some rent, then you can take that building and you can evaluate that building, and directly comparing with that building, you can say this building also will be worth the same value. Okay. So the capital cost is nothing but the value of the building at the time. So this method is known as direct comparison with capital value of some other property or some other building which is close by. Okay. This is adapted when you don't know the rental value of the building. Because you have a building, a newly constructed building, still all the say flats are not occupied, let us say, but they may be occupied within 3 months or 4 months. So just now, because let us say only 10 flats are occupied, 10, can't take only 10 flats income, 10 flats rental value, because the other flats also have the potential to generate the rental income. Okay, but right now they are not occupied. So how do you work out what is the rental value of that building? Now you compare that with another building which is fully occupied and which is getting the full rental value. So then you evaluate that building and you say that because that building has this much capital cost or this much valuation, this building also will value same amount. So that is called a direct comparison with the capital value. Third thing is valuation based on the property. This is also very much similar. But the only thing is, instead of taking the rent, here we take what is the profit you get. Once we say profit, obviously we are referring to some kind of business establishment, right? So this method of valuation is suitable for commercial properties such as hotels, restaurants, shops or offices, malls, cinemas, that is theaters or multiplex complexes. These are all commercial establishments, right? Where you will be getting some profit every year. So you have a restaurant, let us say. Restaurant is not a residential building. So similarly, you have a big supermarket or mall. So it is a commercial complex. So you will be getting profit. So similar to net rental method, you will work out what is your net profit. That means out of the profit, you take away all the expenditure, what you incur in a year, then what is your yearly profit, and taking that yearly profit, then you multiply that with the year's purchase value. Then whatever value you get, that will be the valuation of the building. So it is almost similar to rental value, but instead of rent here we say profit. Why? Because we are now evaluating commercial properties. So the equation is same. The valuation of the building is found by multiplying the net income by year's purchase. Earlier net income from rent multiplied by years purchase we have used. Here, net income means what is the net profit you get multiplied by years purchase. That will give you what is the valuation of that particular commercial complex. Third is development method of valuation. Now, what is development method of valuation? That means here the valuation also includes what is the expected development. Normally, this method is adopted for properties which are under development stage, like you have a real estate venture. Okay, you are developing some 100 flats in some area. Now you want to provide amenities like swimming pool, roads, then street lights, some garden. They are still under development. Okay. Now, how do you decide what is the property of the land, or how do you decide what is the value of one plot in the total venture when there are 100 plots? Then you have to include what is the cost of the amenities and the facilities which you are going to develop there. That means you will be incurring some expenditure for roads, you will be incurring some expenditure for a swimming pool, you may be incurring some expenditure to develop a clubhouse. So all these expenditures should be included in the overall cost of a plot. When you sell the plot, that should fetch you some profit which is more than what you have incurred for the development of the entire venture. Okay, so if you take this development expenditure also into consideration while valuing the property, that is called a development method of valuation. So this development method of valuation generally is applied for real estate ventures, but it can be applied to buildings also. If you are planning to renovate a building, if you are planning to add something more to the building, then additional things what are going to come there, what are the additional developments that are going to come there, what is the value of that additional development, that also becomes a part of the valuation of the building. So net income from that building once those development also come into existence. So that is this essence of this method. That means if the development is undergoing at a particular property, then the property is to be evaluated taking into consideration the development also. That means once the development is completed, what will be the value of the building? That we have to work out. Okay? So that is called a development method of valuation. Okay? Now, the valuation based on cost. Of course, this is nothing but depreciation. In this case, the actual cost of construction of the building or the cost incurred possessing the building is considered as the basis to determine the value of the property. In this case, necessary depreciation is allowed and points of obsolescence are considered. We have already discussed about obsolescence and then depreciation. So every year the building undergoes certain value because of the wear and tear, because of weathering action. So what is the initial cost and what is the depreciation? So initial cost minus depreciation will give you the present valuation of that building. So this is that simple method. But here again, the other methods what we discussed, they can be considered as part of these methods also, valuation based on cost methods also, though they are separately given. Okay. Now, in this case, depreciation we have to calculate, I told you. Then when calculating depreciation, various parts of the building are taken into consideration. So based on the depreciation method, the valuation of the building is divided into 4 parts. Walls, roofs, floor, doors and windows. These are the 4 types of components we take in a building. So cost of each of these property or building at the present rate is calculated based on detailed measurement of the structure. What is the cost of walls? What is the cost of roof? What is it? Because in walls we don't use reinforcement, except maybe in columns we use, but in roof we use reinforcement also. Okay, And then floors, what kind of floor? You may be having a granite floor, you may be having a marble floor, so you may be having different tiled floors, right? So doors and windows, they are made with what kind of wood? Is it a teak wood or is it a locally available wood? So like that, these four parts will be calculated. What is the cost? And then the life of each part is calculated by the formula. Depreciated value is calculated actually. So D is the depreciated value, and R is the rate of depreciation. D is RD together is called say it is the rate of depreciation into some D, a parameter which represents depreciation. And N is the age of building in years, and P is the initial cost. P is the initial cost. N is the years. Okay. Now this is the equation what we use to find out what is the depreciated value of the building. Suppose you know what is RD, you know initial cost of the building. Let us say initially I have constructed the building with 1 crore. Now after 20 years, what will be the depreciated value I want to know. So what I will do is 1 crore into 100 minus RD into 100 to the power of 20 years. But what is the RD value? RD value is given by a table based on the remaining life of the building. Okay. Or based on the life of the building, remaining life. Suppose 100 years is still remaining. That means that it is a new building. The depreciation value will be 0. Okay. Suppose say the building still has got 75 years. Then what will happen to RD? RD will be 1.3. So you see, as the remaining life of the building goes on reducing, what is happening to RD value? RD value goes on increasing. So these RD values are given for a building with a life of 100 years. Okay. Suppose at the beginning of the building, that means still the building has 100 years life. Okay, what is RD value? RD value is a 1. That means actually we don't have any depreciation. Okay, now let us go back to the equation. Let us try to understand. So D is equal to P into 100 minus RD into 100. Okay. Now as the RD value goes on increasing, what happens to this D value? D value will increase or decrease? If RD goes on increasing, what happens to D value?
Decreases, sir.
Decreases or increases? See, all of you are engineering students. I'm showing you one equation. I'm telling you there is a parameter RD. If RD goes on increasing, what happens to D? All other things remain, let us say, same. Okay, P is same. It does not change. Okay. Then RD goes on increasing. What happens to value of D? Will it increase or decrease?
Decrease, sir.
It will decrease,
Less than
right?
it
It will decrease, right? RD has a minus sign before that, right? When it has a minus sign, 100 minus RD, as RD goes on increasing, this value becomes less and less. When this value becomes less and less, D also becomes less. Okay. So
Okay.
depreciation. Yeah, please tell me. Okay. So depreciation will be more if the building has gone through some of its life. Okay. So if the remaining life of the building is less, the depreciation value will be very high. Yeah. So that's why. So as the remaining life of the building goes on reducing, the RD value goes on increasing. By using this, we can calculate the depreciation value of the building. Now, there are some methods to calculate depreciation apart from that equation. These methods are sinking fund method, straight line method, and constant percentage method. Let us say what are these sinking fund, straight line, and constant percentage methods. Sinking fund, I think already we have discussed in the beginning when I told you about the terminology. Anybody remembers what is sinking fund? Okay. So sinking fund means the fund which is gradually accumulated by way of periodic annual deposit for the replacement of the building or structure at the end of its useful life. That is termed as sinking fund. Okay. Now let us say I have constructed a building. The life of the building is 50. Now I know what is the value of the building after 50 years, because after 50 years the value of the building will be the original cost minus depreciation over 50 years. So whatever value the building has after its life, we know that it is called a salvage value, right, or scrap value. We have discussed that. So now let us say I have incurred 1 crore on constructing this building. After 50 years, let us say the building value will be after depreciation. Let us say the value will be 20 lakhs after 50 years. Initially, I have spent 1 crore, but after the value of the building will be only 20 lakhs. Let us say. That means I have lost 80 lakhs in the form of depreciation. Okay. In the form of depreciation, I have lost 80 lakhs. Now, in order to get 80 lakhs at the end of 50 years, with the prevailing rate of interest, how much amount I should pay each year or how much amount I should deposit each year in the bank, so that after the end of 50 years, I will get 80 lakhs. That means whatever depreciation value I have lost, I will be getting through these annual deposits because of the compound rate of interest. So the sinking fund is the fund what I get at the end. So in order to get 80 lakhs as this sinking fund, how much amount I have to pay annually, I have to work out, and that I have to pay based on the rate of interest. Okay. So that is called sinking fund method. Okay. Now, the object of creating sinking fund is to accumulate sufficient money to meet the cost of construction or replacement of the building at the end of the life. At the end of the life, after 50 years, again I have to renovate the building. So, because I will be losing a value of 80 lakhs by the time, if I generate 80 lakhs and I'll use that 80 lakhs for renovating the building. Okay? So, that is, I can increase. That is the very purpose for which we create a sinking fund. Okay. So the sinking fund policies are available with the banks or with the insurance companies. So by taking a sinking fund policy with an insurance company or by depositing in bank, we can get the sinking fund. We can create a sinking fund. Okay. So the calculation of sinking fund depends on the life of the building and the scrap value of the building, as I already told you. Okay, what is the scrap value of the building at the end of its life? Based on that, we will work out what is the. So to generate the sinking fund, how much annual deposit we have to make. But while talking about sinking fund in case of a building, we don't take the value of land into consideration. The cost of land is not taken into account in calculating the sinking fund. Why? Because the land values will go appreciating. They don't depreciate normally. At the most, they may remain constant. Okay. The building will be constructed over a piece of land, but the even though after 50 years the building loses some of its value, the land value will be very high at that time. Because by 50 years, a lot of developments might have come in and around that place. So the land value will be very high. But because the building becomes old, the building value goes. That's the reason why the land value is not taken into consideration while calculating the sinking fund. Now, the sinking fund may also be required to payment of a loan. Okay. Let us say you have taken some 1 crore today as a loan from the bank to construct a building. Okay. The life of the building is some 50 years. And you want to see that by the time the life of the building ends, your loan is also closed. That means over a 50 years period, you should close your loan of 1 crore also. So in order to generate 1 crore or pay back 1 crore at the end of 50 years, how much annual deposit you have to make? So that is also similar to what we have discussed so far. Okay? So there are so many purposes for which we create a sinking fund. Okay. The amount you pay annually is called annuity payment. Annually, how much amount you are depositing or how much amount you are paying for the insurance company to get so much amount at the end of so many years. So that is called annuity payment. Okay. So here there is a parameter what we call as sinking fund factor. We use this parameter, sinking fund factor. Sinking fund factor is given by I by 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1, where n is the number of years for which we are planning the annual payments. I is the rate of interest. So these are the only two parameters which we have to know. What is I? That means what is the rate of interest, and what is n, number of years. I will give some example with some numerical values also. So now how we use the sinking fund factor? So this is S is sinking fund, total amount of sinking fund to be accumulated. So S is what is the amount that we need to accumulate at the end of n years. And I is the rate of interest. So what is the annual payment I have to make? That is, what is the annuity payment? This R is called annuity payment or annual installment. So this annual installment is called, annual installment is worked out like the total sinking fund that we want to generate multiplied by sinking fund factor, or S into I by 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1. Okay, where I is the rate of interest. If the rate of interest is 5%, we write I as 0.05, 5 by 100. Okay, and n is the number of years required to accumulate the sinking. This equation. Any doubts about this equation? The annual payment that we have to make is calculated as the total fund which we want to raise after n years at the rate of interest I. So this is the equation what we use. Any doubts for anybody? Yeah, anybody can answer. Any doubts for anybody?
No, sir.
No doubts. Okay. So now, I think you have, all of you have the calculators, I hope. Okay, somebody can, whenever I need, somebody can tell me the calculation part. Okay, a pumping set. Now this is a small example I have taken. After this, we will work out for a building also. Now a pumping set with a sorry, here there is a spelling mistake. With a motor, not a motor. With a motor has been installed in a building at a cost of 2,500 rupees. Okay, let me change that motor to motor so that when I share this, you should not have any problem. Motor. Yeah, it is taking some time. Okay. Now, a pumping set with a motor has been installed in a building at a cost of rupees 2,500 rupees. Assuming the life of the pump as 15 years, work out the amount of annual installment of sinking fund required to be deposited to accumulate the whole amount at 4% compound interest. Now we have installed a pumping set costing 2,500 rupees, and the life is estimated to be 15 years. Now we want to get back this 2,500 years, 2,500 rupees at the end of 15 years. That means the 2,500 rupees will become our sinking fund. The interest rate is given as 4%. Okay. Now with an interest rate of 4%, if we want to generate a fund of 2,500 after 15 years, what is the annual deposit we have to make? That is the question. Now we apply this equation. The annual deposit we have to make is equal to sinking fund S multiplied by the sinking fund factor, I by 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1. What is S? S is equal to 2,500 rupees. That is what we want to generate at the end of 15 years. Now can you tell me what is the value you get? S is 2,500. We have to get back 2,500 at the rate of 4%. So I is 0.04. After 15 years, so N is 15. Then what is the annual amount I have to pay? Can somebody tell me? Work out and tell me. Anybody is working on this?
₹125, sir.
125 rupees. Yes, you're right. So you will get 125 rupees as the answer. That means in order to generate 2,500 rupees at the end of 15 years, at the rate of interest of 4%, every year you have to deposit 125 rupees. Okay? So that is how we apply this principle. So the owner is to deposit 125 rupees annually at 4% compound interest, so that after 15 years, the accumulated sum will be 2,500. In a similar fashion, we also work out for a building. Okay. Now, an old building has been purchased by a person at a cost of 30 lakhs, excluding the cost of the land. The building cost is 30 lakhs. One person has purchased it at calculate the amount of annual sinking fund at 4% interest, assuming the future life of the building as 20 years. That means the remaining life of the building is only 20 years. And the scrap value of the building as 10% of the cost of purchase. Okay, after the end of 20 years, the value is 10% of the cost of the building. Okay. Now, this person wants to get back all the amount that has gone as depreciation over a period of 20 years. Now, how do you work out this problem? So, how much he has to deposit annually so that he will generate the sinking fund which is equal to the depreciation? Now, first of all, he has purchased the building at 30 lakhs. The life of the remaining life of the building is 20 years. And the scrap value of the building is 10% of the cost of the purchase. That means after 20 years, the value of the building will be 10% of the purchased value. What is 10% of the purchased value? 30 lakhs is the value with which the building is purchased. So, what will be the value of the building after 20 years? It is 10% of that. 10% of 30 lakhs is equal to
3 lakhs, sir.
3 lakhs. So, what is the amount which you have lost over 20 years?
27 lakhs, sir.
27 lakhs. You are right. That means the amount lost is 90%. Okay. So, the total amount of sinking fund is to be accumulated at the end of 20 years. That is the purpose. If S is the amount lost due to depreciation at the end of 20 years, S becomes the sinking fund. So, what is S value? S value is 90% of this 30,000. 90% of 30,000 because 10% value will be still there after the end of 20 years. So, 27 lakhs you have to get as sinking fund. You have to accumulate the money by paying annually some amount in such a way that after 20 years that money accumulates to a value equal to 27 lakhs. So, this 27 lakhs is your sinking fund. So, in order to get 27 lakhs as the accumulated money as the sinking fund, okay, with 4% interest rate after 20 years, what is the annual payment I have to make? We'll apply the same formula. Here, instead of R, I is used. I is the annual installment. That is equal to S into I by 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1. Sinking fund multiplied by sinking fund factor. Okay. S is 27,000. I is 0.04. That is 4%. Okay. N is 20 years. So, we use this formula. Same formula. By using the same formula, you will get 27 lakhs into 0.0336, 90,720 rupees. So, every year you have to deposit 90,720 rupees over a period of 20 years. If you do that, after 20 years period, your accumulated fund will be equal to 27 lakhs. Okay, so this is how we calculate the annual payment that is to be made for the depreciation of the building. This is called sinking fund method. I hope all of you understand this, right? Then another method is called straight line method. This is another method of calculating depreciation. It is called straight line method. What is this method? In this method, it is assumed that the property loses its value by the same amount every year. What do we mean by that? We are assuming that depreciation every year is same. Suppose in the first year, the depreciation of the building is, let us say, 10,000. We assume 10,000 every year. Depreciation is 10,000 every year, we assume. In fact, it may not be like that. Depreciation value also changes. But this is one such method where the depreciation value is assumed to be same. Just a minute. Chepachari. Good morning, Ajay. అవును సర్లే రాకపోతే ఏం నష్టం అని వెనకాల జనాలు అంటూ ఉండాలి అంతే కదా సర్లే ఓకే సర్లే ఓకే రైట్ సో the depreciation value each year is assumed to be constant. Okay, so a fixed amount of the original cost is deducted every year, so that at the end of the utility period only the scrap value is left. That means every year same amount of depreciation is assumed. How we will calculate what is the depreciation for each year? So we use this formula. Annual depreciation D is equal to C minus S by N. Now, what is this formula? Let us try to understand. Here, C indicates original cost or replacement value. Original cost of the building, or after the building loses its life, okay, what is the total cost required for the renovation? But normally we take original cost. Original cost of the building minus S. What is the S? S is the scrap value or salvage value. So what is the remaining value after the end of life? What is the life? N is the life of the property in years. N is the life of property in years. Suppose say N is 20. Let us say N is 50. Okay. 50 years. Now we know initial cost of the building. We know what is the cost of building after 50 years. Now what is the amount we have lost over cost minus scrap value? We have worked out a problem just now, right? We have purchased for 30 lakhs, but at the end of the 20 years, the building will value only 3 lakhs. So what is the amount you have lost? 30 minus 3, 27 lakhs. We have worked out just now, right? Similarly, the value which is lost as depreciation over a number of years is given by initial value minus salvage value. Okay. What is the salvage value? The salvage value is after n years. So, if for n years, the total loss is C minus S, what is the loss every year? Simply we divide it by n. C minus S by n. That means we are working out the entire depreciation over the life period and we are distributing the depreciation equally over each year of the life of the building. That's why this depreciation annually remains constant. Because we work out in such a fashion that if the life is 50 years, we calculate what is the total depreciation for 50 years. Divided by 50 will give you what is the annual depreciation. Every year we decrease the rate of the building by the same amount from the cost. Okay, so that's why this is called a straight line method. Every year, same amount of depreciation is assumed. Okay, I hope you understand. Because if you don't say anything, I think you understand the concept and I will proceed. Now, let us see some numerical example. The total cost of a new building is 40 lakhs. Work out the depreciated cost of the building after 20 years by straight line method. If the salvage value of the building after 80 years of life is 2 lakhs. Please try to understand the problem. The total cost of a new building is 40 lakhs. Work out the depreciated cost of the building after 20 years. After 20 years, what is going to be the value of this building? Depreciated cost of the building. 20 years is not the life of the building. Okay, what is the life of the building? Here, life of the building is given as 80 years. So, if the salvage value of the building after 80 years of life is 2 lakhs. So, now the building has a life of 80 years. After 80 years, the salvage value is 2 lakhs. But presently, the building is 40 lakhs. After 80 years, the value of the building is going to be only 2 lakhs. So that means over 80 years of period, by how much amount the building has lost its value? It has lost its value by 38 lakhs. Is it not? At least one person in the class can answer.
Yes, sir.
So I told you again and again, I'm telling you, of course, this may be our last class, there is no point in telling you again. When a question is asked, they say you have to respond to that. Okay. And I'm not asking you any complicated questions. I'm asking you questions which need yes or no as the answer. I don't know why you are not answering, why you are hesitating. Okay. Okay, annual depreciation by straight line method is. So what happens is, if you don't answer, I don't know whether you are able to understand or not. And I don't know whether you are interested in the lecture or not. I assume that you don't have any interest in the lecture. When I assume that you don't have any interest in the lecture, I also lose interest in the lecture. Why should I bother about my lecture when you are not interested? Why should I take the pains to make you understand if you are not interested? Okay, that is again and again I repeatedly requesting you to please answer when I ask you whether it is correct or not, something like that. Okay. So annual depreciation by straight line is equal to C minus S by N. We have seen N is the life of the building, 80 years. S is the salvage value. Salvage value is 2 lakhs. C is the initial cost of the building. Initial cost of the building is 40 lakhs. So therefore, the depreciation, annual depreciation D. Annually, what is the depreciation? 40 lakhs minus 2 lakhs. This is over 80 years. So per year, how much? 40 lakhs minus 2 lakhs by 80. That is, every year the building loses an amount equal to 47,500 rupees. So this is taken as the fixed value for every year. Now what is asked in the question? In the question, it is asked, what is the depreciated value of the building after 20 years? So if this is the rate of depreciation per year, how much will be the depreciation for 20 years? 20 into 47,500. So you will be losing 9,50,000 rupees. So what will be the value of this building after 20 years? 40 lakhs minus 9,50,000. So the building will be worth 30,50,000 rupees. So that is how we apply this particular principle of annual depreciation. Then there is another method which is called linear method. That is called straight line method. This is called linear method. Or this is also called as constant percentage method, or written down value method, or declining balance method. So this is another method for calculating annual depreciation. In this method, the depreciation percentage remains constant through the life of the building. See, in the earlier method, the depreciation value for each year remains constant. But here it is not like that. In this method, what we do is we keep the percentage of depreciation as constant. So every year the building depreciates by, let us say, 2%. So we will fix up that percentage. But the capital sum or base goes on reducing every year by an amount equal to the depreciation of previous year. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? So now let us say I have constructed a building newly. The building, let us take it is a small building. It costs about 10 lakhs. That is the cost I have incurred. So every year the depreciation is taken as, let us say, 2%. Okay. Now, presently I have constructed the building with 10 lakhs. Every year the depreciation is 2%. That is a constant. So after will be the depreciated value of the building? How much value I will be losing as depreciation? 2% of 10 lakhs, right? How much is 2% of 10 lakhs?
20,000, sir.
20,000 rupees. So 20,000 rupees will be lost as depreciation in the first year. So what will be the value of the building at the beginning of second year? 10,000 minus? Yeah, 9,80,000 rupees, right? Okay. Next, if you want to calculate what is the depreciation in the second year, what we will do is, we will take the same percentage, that is the depreciation is 2% every year. But on what value we calculate this 2%? We calculate this 2% on 9,80,000. Yes, you are right. So what will be the depreciation value? Second year, 9.8 lakhs into 2%. 9.8 into 0.02. Okay. I think you may get something like 19,600.
Yes, sir.
You see, second year the depreciation value is 19,600. First year the depreciation value is 20,000. You see, it has reduced by some amount. Why? Because the base value has changed. So every year we go on changing the base value. We take that as the value of the building at the beginning of the year, and then we work out with the same percentage of depreciation. The percentage of depreciation does not change, but because the base value is changing, the amount of depreciation each year is going on decreasing, right? You understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is what is the constant percentage method or declining balance method. Okay. So the capital sum or base goes on reducing every year by an amount equal to the depreciation of the previous year. So what is the base value of previous year minus what is the depreciation? That becomes the base value for the current year. Like that, though the percentage of depreciation remains the same, the amount of depreciation goes on changing every year. Whereas in the earlier case, when in the straight line method, we are averaging the annual depreciation. For every year, we are taking away a sum equal to annual depreciation value. So there the amount of depreciation remains constant. But here, the amount of depreciation goes on reducing, but the percentage of depreciation remains the same. But why the value of depreciation goes on decreasing is every year the base price goes on decreasing. We take what is the building value at the beginning of the year. That we take. Okay, so that is why it is called constant percentage method or declining balance method. Okay, so thus the quantum of depreciation in this method will go on reducing every year. That's what I told you with an example. Okay. Now I think these are all the methods which are available for valuation of the building. So with this, we have come to the end of the topic valuation of the buildings. With this, your syllabus is also over. Okay. If you have any doubts on this particular aspect, valuation of the buildings, you can raise your doubts. Otherwise, I wish you all the best for your examination. When is your last working day? Anybody knows when your last working day is?
So we don't have clarity, sir, but we have exams on 27th, sir.
We have exams on 27th. Okay, still there is a lot of time to go. But anyway, because Pawan has covered a lot of syllabus, this is the only topic left out. And then I have covered this particular topic of valuation of buildings. Okay, if you have any doubts in valuation, then you can ask. Otherwise, I will stop the class, and then the syllabus also, whatever is there for valuation, I have completed the syllabus. Okay, I will share this presentation with you. Whatever presentation today I have presented to you, I will share with you. Okay, so you please enter your roll number and then leave the class if you don't have any further doubts. And what we shall do with the next classes, remaining classes, I will tell you after discussing with the head of the department, because we don't have any syllabus to cover. Syllabus is over. Okay, so please enter your roll number and leave the class. So there are some people who simply log in and then they leave their phone and go away. I'll be knowing them at the end of the class. Yesterday also there were 4 people like that. Mahendra Kumar, are you there? 107 lateral entry. Mahendra Kumar. So he simply logs into the meeting and then he leaves the phone and he'll go away. Sai Pratap. Sai Pratap, are you there? 36. Muhammad Amin Salihi. Muhammad Amin, are you there? Venkatesh Naik. Okay. Sai Pavani. Sai Pavani should join now.